But short break. I need to look my uploads. Upload to YouTube, of course. Then the sound is a little bit loud, I know that, but my voice is very loud too.
Stop right there. This claim is ours. I'll make this easy for you. Leave now, or we kill you. I'm happy either way.
The time has come for something new. Something to change the game. When seeking fortunes at the fringes of civilization,
Yes, my
you
upload
need
has
someone you
stopped
can
again.
trust.
More
In this age of uncertainty, it's time to take back your strength. It's time to release the Kraken. Drake Interplanetary. We got your back.
It all started with a dream. The need to challenge the conventions of our time. To look at the well-worn path ahead and decide to take another route. What is life if not the culmination of all decisions we've made and the roads we've traveled? We decide to seek out the unknown. Or take a stand against the unjust in the universe. We are all chasing who we are, who we want to be. Which begs the question, why choose it all? Introducing the all-new Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma. 2948 Mustang. Dream redefined for modern era.
Yes, upload has stopped again. I need to add file, but I have to
Ask
do
any
that
soldier.
hundreds
They'll
of
tell you
times.
that battles aren't won or lost based on weapons or numbers or even hardware. They're won on choices. For over a century, our ships have distinguished themselves in thousands of civilian and military combat operations. We are proud to announce another weapon in the arsenal of victory. Get ready for the next generation of warfare with Anvil's Valkyrie dropship. This multi-role weapon platform is designed to get personnel in and out of the hottest combat zones. Featuring 4 powerful rotating thrusters with VTOL
Yes, I'm
capabilities,
ready.
the Valkyrie is capable of landing with surgical precision to deploy assets. vehicle bay and ramp. You can also efficiently launch ground-based troop transports or reconnaissance vehicles in the field.
Nice big
Each
cargo.
high-performance operator seat features rugged construction with added support to minimize G-force for up to 20 personnel, making sure that your fighting force arrives on site ready to jump into the fray. And don't think for a second that the Valkyrie can't hold its own in a fight. 2 remote turrets featuring size 3 hardpoints can provide suppressing fire during deployment. 2 additional manned turrets provide even more devastating fire to blur the line between dropship and gunship. In the days of antiquity, the Valkyrie were believed to choose which warriors may die in battle and which may live. With Anvil's Valkyrie, we put that choice in your hands.
Nice ship, but maybe that's not for sale. You cannot just buy it. Yes, I'm still 2 days behind my upload to YouTube, so I cannot just lay here watch YouTube videos hours after hours and not look if my upload is running. But the Callis star system is next, and we have the Star Callis. Of course, nobody lives that too hot. And the Callis 1, Habital No, that's a protoplanet, a small mass believed to be developing into a protoplanet. I don't know what a protoplanet is. And we have Callis 2, Habital No, Terrestrial Rocky, protected under the Fair Chains Act, a rocky terrestrial world forming between 2 asteroid belts. Currently shares an orbit with Callis 3. Yes, we have a Callis 3 in same orbit. Habital No, Terrestrial Rocky, sharing the same orbital path as Callis 2. Scientists are eagerly watching and wondering if one of the planets will submerge the other. Yes, they are in same orbits. That's the first time I have seen this in a star system. That's Callis number 4 is the green zone. Habital No, Terrestrial Rocky, a world dominated by volcanic activity that appears to be forming an atmosphere. Members of the scientific community are particularly fixated on Callis 4, survival number DXP/557C, and track its progress from the edge of the system with the orbital platforms and research drones, hoping it might reveal how Earth developed. Callis 5, Habital No, Terrestrial Rocky, a rocky terrestrial planet without an atmosphere. It is believed that a massive meteor strike created the acceleration disk swirling around this world. The coalescing debris, I cannot say that word, debris has some scientists hypothesize that the disk may form into a moon. Yes, there are some debris around from a meteor strike and they are thinking they will form a moon. That's a 5. So far no habitable planets. The 6 Habitat no, that's a carbon planet. A forming terrestrial carbon planet still early in its development. And we have the 6 carbon planets. That's a 6. That's probably the same. I did click again. Yes. We have the 7. Habitat no. Gas giants. Scientists are watching this burgeoning gas giant's atmosphere closely to study storm formation. That's the 7. And 8, this is a very big star system. This is ice giants, habitat no. Witnessing the formation of this ice giant is one of great interest to the scientific community, as there are still debates as to the exact process. Composed of heavier elements than normal gas giants, it is currently believed that Calis 8 formed closer to the star before being gravitationally shattered outwards to its current orbit. That was Calis 8. That's a big 8, 9, 10, so that's a very big. We got the space station. Yes, that's the space station. That's 8. Then we have space station. Space station, OB station, Griffon, an observation post for scientists studying the development systems. So, have only a space station. Far away. And what we have, the last one, the Calis number 9. That must be ice planet or something. Yes, dwarf planets, habitat no. This small dwarf planet's surface is a barren icy tundra dotted with active cryovolcanoes that spew freezing magma into the turbulentous ammoniac-rich atmosphere. Scientists theorized that Calis 9 will slowly grow dormant over the next few millennia. So that's a very big star system. We have the space station in the outer ring, very far away. Yes, we have the space station here, and 9 planets. So it's a very big, and that would take a long time. You have to design all this. You have to make 9 planets and the space station. No, could take half a year to do that. Yes, half a year. That's 6 months. So that would be I don't know, 2-3 weeks. You have to design 1 planet. So a lot of work. Let's see what they're saying about this system.
welcome to another edition of Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm Sherry Heiberg, the archivist. If you've never seen Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's a program in which me and the other writers get together, or more like do it solo, one at a time, talk about the lore behind the systems that we have built for you, the citizens of the stars.
Wrong show.
Wrong show. Anyway, this is Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I hope you enjoy this tour of Callus. Now, I picked Callus because I thought it would be interesting to talk about a system that's still forming. Here is our representation of Callus. If our visualization was where we would want it to be, we'd have a more accurate representation of a protoplanetary disk, which has, lots of little planetesimals, little planet embryos, some dust, all kinds of things. And we hope to do that with the next iteration of the star map. So systems like Callus and Null and Gurzel will have the appropriate protoplanetary disks, which will be a more compelling visualization, in my opinion. Now, the Callus system, even though it doesn't have any life developing on it whatsoever, is protected by the Fair Chance Act. And the reason for this is that it is a developing system in that it is developing slowly on an astronomical scale, like millions of years. It's going to take millions of years for the system to finish forming and to become a full 9-planet solar system, more or less similar to ours, which is, at the heart of it, the reason why the Senate agreed to pass the Fair Chance Act and protect this otherwise uninteresting system. But I think it's pretty interesting because it's scientifically interesting, and so do all the people who live here and study it. There has been a push ever since the announcement of the discovery of the planet in 2291. No, not 2291. Why did I say that? In 2921, that there are land deeds available up for grabs, and that once Callus finishes developing, it's going to be a hub of interesting jump points, and there's going to be cheap land available for everyone, mining prospects, etc. But, as I said, systems like this take millions of years to develop. So anyone who comes up to you claiming that they have a good deal on a land deed for Callus probably also has a really good collection of snake oil they'd like to show you. Not to mention the fact that you can't actually buy land in the systems protected by the Fair Chance Act, so be on the lookout for charlatans such as that. This is the star of Callus, also called Callus. It's a G-type main sequence star. It burns yellow-white on the spectral scale, much like our sun. It's called a yellow dwarf. A lot of the stars along the main sequence are dwarf stars, but they're not white dwarfs. The red dwarf is the M-type star. It burns very cool. It's very old. Then you have the K-type star that burns orange. It's a little bit warmer. And then you have the G-type star, the yellow dwarf, which is our sun. Which is partially one of the things that made this system so interesting to people who wanted to study the long-term development of a system in its infancy. This guy is Callus 1. We hope to get a better representation of a forming planet one day, but for now we went with something that sort of suggests that it hasn't got an atmosphere, it's got a little rocky surface, it's forming from close by planetesimals, it's kind of a little planetoid. One day it will coalesce into a bigger planet, but for now it is what it is. We've also got the Callus Belt Alpha, which is very thick for an asteroid belt, very dense, full of minerals, full of, as I said, asteroids. Decently dangerous to fly through. You want to be careful and make sure that you calculate that your ship, if you indeed need to pass through it, does not run into any of the asteroids that are going quickly through the belt. Here we have, interestingly enough, Callus 3. Callus 3 and, here's the other guy. Callus 2 are also forming planets, much like Callus 1, but in this case they share the same orbit in a not exactly eternally stable pattern. One day they are probably going to crash into each other, which I hope that we get to see in game, but who knows. And once they do, it is fair game to bet which planet will subsume the other, whether they will pulverize each other, or whether we will get an Earth-Moon situation, which I think would be the raddest outcome. Here we have another asteroid belt. Unlike the Alpha belt, the Beta belt is actually really sparse. Again, our visualization hasn't caught up to what our lore wants to communicate, but one day we hope that it will. We'd love to have different visualizations of different kinds of belts so that you can tell at a glance whether it is densely populated or whether it is more like a dust belt, which is what Callus Beta here is. Ooh, Callus Belt Beta. Alright, now that we've talked about these, let's move on to Callus 4 if I can find it. Let's see, where are you, my guy? Let's see, Callus 6. Oh, here we go, Callus 4. Callus 4 is firmly within the green band, which is very exciting to scientists. It is molten, which is also very exciting to scientists, and it's roughly in the same position as our Earth, which is the most exciting thing for scientists. It's sort of like getting a photograph or more like a live feed of the formation of Earth at a certain time in its history. After a couple of million years, it may stabilize and cool off and get a hard surface, perhaps with volcanic activity, perhaps with oceans. It all remains to be seen, but it is in a prime position to develop life should the planet stabilize. This will, of course, take millions of years, and it's unlikely for the scientists observing this system to possibly see it in their lifetimes, which they know, but they are still very happy to be here to observe this fantastic slice of astronomical history. All right. Now let's zoom out for a second so I can get a hold on where we put Callus 5. So we have Callus 5 here, which is a young rocky planet. It's not quite finished forming, and it has a healthy disk of debris around it, which hopefully and possibly will one day coalesce into a moon or several moons. And that is what evidence suggests, and that would also be extremely exciting to observe on a long-term scale. We also have Callus 6, all the way on the other side here. This is Callus 6. It is a carbon planet, as you can see from the scoring, and having seen a lot of carbon planets in my time. It formed out of a protoplanetary disk debris field that's composed mostly of carbon. And it just sits pretty. It is almost done with its development. And I guess if you want carbon and want to defy the law, come to Callus 6. Here's Callus 7. It's a gas giant. Now, what I found very interesting when I was reading about protoplanetary disks is that gas giants tend to form much faster than their terrestrial counterparts. So Callus 7 is a fully formed adult gas planet with its own credit cards and bills and apartment. It's thinking about getting a dog. It's a great place to go if you want to refuel, if you happen to be going through the system, and refueling is not against the law here. It is a big, hydrogen-rich, grown-up system, perfect for your refueling needs. And what I like to think from this little visualization of the dots around it is that they're a bunch of tiny moons. That's what I hope to have once we get the system online for you, the players. A bunch of tiny moons that form from a big protoplanetary disk that's still circling around the planet. I very much hope that all my visualization dreams will come true in the next iteration of the star map. Let us move on from Callus 7 to Callus 8. Callus 8 is an ice giant. It is composed of heavier elements than the elements of the gas giant that precedes it. So there is a prevailing hypothesis that it formed close to the sun and then was flung outward early in its development stage. This most likely would have happened before the other planets on the inner orbit between it and the sun formed, because otherwise an event of that magnitude may have flung